welcome back to the channel, guys. This is your friend Cartman. Today I got some awesome replays to share with you guys from this last raid weekend. And as you guys can see from the balance changes, the Super Dragon got a huge buff in the clan capital, guys. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can use one army only to go a perfect raid in your next raid weekend, guys. Now, this is all in preparation before this latest update, so we'll get into that in the next videos. But first, I'll show you just how devastating this attack strategy is. Now, last raid weekend, we had a nice weekend, 1,541 raid medals, quite a bit of clan capital loot. Did have about 40 participants from our clan, so we went up plus 56 in trophies. We will take that right now. As you can see, lots of accounts of mine around the 30K range, guys. And I'm going to show you exactly the army I was using to do that. And we're going to be looking at right here, raid number 8, London, 17 hits. Here's the army we got. 4 battle rams, a pack of minions. We got 2 rocket loons, 2 skeleton barrels, the 4 super dragons, 1 frost spell, and the 2 graveyard spells, guys. Let's jump right into the replays. All right, guys, first up, we got Golem Quarry. And again, we're going to be coming in with those 4 super dragons. We're going to zoom out so you can see everything here. We're going to use that frost spell in the middle of this district where we can get the blast bow and that rocket artillery. You're looking for an area where you can get the most benefit out of this frost spell, a lot of air targeting defenses. And for this first frost spell, you ideally want it where it's going to help your first push with the army. You don't want it too far into the district where it's not going to help your troops that you're deploying first. So right here, we're going to get our Super Dragon working in. That first blast bow is just a give me. You want to get that defense out of the way as soon as possible. Now we bring the battle ram so we can open up these walls, get that deployment zone opened up a little bit as we go through here. Now, as soon as your Super Dragons start taking a little bit of damage or fire, you want to get those Rocket Loons and Skelly Barrels in there to start tanking for your Super Dragons. And also you want those graveyards to start spawning some air skellies for additional tanking. Once you get that tanking established in here, you can see these Super Dragons have a ton of HP, and they're able to go through here with their roast ability and get a lot of value taking down these defensive buildings. And as you can see, we've gotten over the 40% mark now. We've got 2 of the blast bows already taken out. And now we're working on that rocket artillery that is in that first frost spell. That's about where our troops are going to die out. You can see we do not get that rocket artillery, but that's not a big deal. It is in the frost spell for our next hit. And we're going to be right here, right close at 50%, guys, in our first hit. Now, in the second hit, we're again going to take our frost spell where we can get some nice value. That's going to include that blast bow up here at 12 o'clock. We're going to get a Super Dragon working on this far right-hand side down here at 3 o'clock. We've got a skelly or a graveyard spell at the top side for this top rocket artillery. Going to go ahead and send in some rocket loons to get that rocket artillery taken out. And once these air skellies start spawning, it'll protect our Super Dragon pushing in from the 3 o'clock side. And right here, you can see we have just such nice pathing, guys. Once you get pathing established for your Super Dragons, they have nowhere to go but where that path is, and they're going to destroy everything in sight. This is a little spread out. We kind of have these little pockets of defenses, but we have tanking on the left-hand side for that Super Dragon to get into that little box area. It's going to roast out everything almost right there in one motion. Easily take out all those buildings, guys. And there is a nice and easy 2-hit triple. We get tons of bonus loot as well, as we have so many troops remaining. All right, guys, next up we got Skeleton Park. And as you can see, another nicely upgraded district. We're going to use this frost spell on the left-hand side on this rocket artillery, where we do have some air targeting defenses, the air bombs in there, spear thrower, a reflector. We'll use our graveyard spells in here around this minion hive. In the core, we want some tanking in there to distract that minion hive. And so we're going to send a Super Dragon along with a little bit of tanking on the right-hand side to take out this first area. Now we're going to start spawning some skeletons here in the core. So we want to get our troops in the core to take advantage of that tanking. We're going to send the Skelly Barrel to take out that mega hidden Tesla that popped right there at 1 o'clock. Now we're going to start sending a Super Dragon down in from 4 o'clock along with a Skelly Barrel and our next Rocket Loon for tanking. And now you can see we're pushing right into this core where that minion hive is. We've got both the graveyard spells in there creating some tanking as well. And you can see we're going to get some really nice value in there, guys. I'm trying to use the battle rams just to open up some walls where I can. But I don't want to spawn that many ground skellies. The value for us right here in this attack is as many air skellies as possible. We have a nice split on all of these Super Dragons, so they can't be targeted by the same splash defenses. And as a result, we're able to burn through a large chunk of this base. We still have 3 Super Dragons moving around the base. Now, their health is going down, but we've taken out a huge part of this base already. And as you can see again, we are approaching past the 50% mark here with a lot of nice loot for our first hit. And if you can get close to 50% your first hit, you should be thinking of a 2-hit triple every time, guys. So here, we're going to place our next frost spell in this back end section at 9 o'clock. Lots of air targeting defenses, plus that minion hive back there. Now we're going to place both of our graveyards here towards 6 o'clock, or more like 7 o'clock maybe. Now we want to get this rocket artillery taken out that's on this little peninsula to the left towards 6 o'clock. Got our first Super Dragon down. That's going to tank this rocket artillery. Then we can send in a couple packs of Rocket Loons that take out the rocket artillery very quickly. And we got a Super Dragon right in behind that to clear out all the trash buildings while the rocket balloon is going to tank. And after these buildings are taken out, guys, there is just a little channel here of where all of these troops have to go to hit all these defenses. As you can see, everything is cleared out except for this section here from like 7:30 to 9 o'clock. So now it is just time to overwhelm the base with all of our tanking, get our Skelly Barrels in here, and let these Super Dragons just finish off the rest of this district, guys. Just it's such a powerful attack. You can see how many troops we still have up. We have so much tanking still coming in from all the air skellies that haven't even made it. And the Super Dragons just have so many hit points now. Over 70, it's like 7,600 hit points. So I mean, it takes a lot to take down one Super Dragon. And as you can see right here, we have tons of Super Dragons up, tons of air skellies up. And it is a devastating 2-hit triple on Skeleton Park. All right, guys. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at Balloon Lagoon. Now, in this district, you have a couple of single infernos. That's not really your favorite when you're using Super Dragons, but I'm going to show you how that's not an issue at all. So we got our first Super Dragon coming in, and we want to clear out this whole section right of this waterway, lake, or whatever this body of water here is. So everything on this right-hand side, we're just going to go down that channel. It's a perfect place to funnel Super Dragons. Just bring in a few Rocket Loons or Skeleton Barrels in here to tank for you. So you can get through these rocket artilleries, get these air bombs down. So there's some really nice value there. And you can see we have the frost spell already placed here where we're going to go around this corner to the left. We've got a rocket artillery. We've got a single inferno in there along with some other defenses. But those are the two where we wanted to for sure put them under the frost spell. So now we're going to start bringing in a little more tanking to get around this corner. There's not much in the way of air defenses up there. So just a little bit of tanking for this Super Dragon to get the most value here. And just going to be patient. Get our graveyard spells around this single inferno because we want it distracted. We don't want to lock on to one of our Super Dragons when we do get in here in just a second. So now we're going to send in a few battle rams, open up this area, get our Skelly Barrel coming in here to tank that is left. And now we're going to get our Super Dragons heading into the Frost Spell, into the core, to do as much damage as they can, guys. And you can see we've already gotten some really nice value out of this raid. We get that first Rocket Artillery taken out. Start working on this single Inferno. It's going to go down here. And as you can see, guys, we're again nearing 50% with this first raid. And we've gotten so many of the key defenses down. We have one Rocket Artillery still up. We got one single Inferno up. And that is about it. We have a few air bombs, air defenses, spear throwers, that sort of thing. But nothing major. Our last Super Dragon does a little damage on that last single Inferno that is up. And it's going to set us up really nice for our second hit. And as you can see, we've cleared out everything on the right-hand side, right-hand half of this map, pretty much. And that's what you want to do with the Super Dragons. It's all about a path. And you want to get those Super Dragons going down the path, guys, just like in the home village. Now we're going to use our Frost Spell on that last Rocket Artillery and single Inferno. Get our Graveyard Spells in here to tank. We're going to start approaching this one from the 6 o'clock side. Get a few of these trash buildings here cleared out. We've got our battle rams to open up these walls for us. And then we're going to start sending in our Rocket Loons to take down these air targeting defenses. Keep our Super Dragon alive. Get some of these air skellies spawning so we can get a little bit of tanking. And now we're just going to work our way right through this district, guys. Now we start tanking or getting some air skellies spawning up here, say at 10:30 in that little area where the first frostbow is. So I choose to take advantage of that. So we're going to send in a Super Dragon from up on that side as well to kind of come in on this peninsula and get this whole thing taken out. We've got another Super Dragon working toward the frost on the bottom side toward that single Inferno. And the Frostbow is going to make that single Inferno slow enough that that Super Dragon is going to be able to get through this Rocket Artillery and still have enough HP to come over and time to roast through the rest of the single Inferno. That is the power of the Frostbow, guys. And as you can see, we still have 3 Super Dragons up and some tanking. Very nice. All right, guys, next up we're going to be taking a look at Builder's Workshop. Now, that is historically a base that I love. A district I love to hit with Super Dragons. We're going to use the Frostbow around this district hall. There's some air bombs in there, spear throwers, air defenses, lots of nice value. And on the right-hand side, I like to use these battle ramps to come in here, open up these deployment areas, get a graveyard spell down. Now start sending in some tanking with the Rocket Loons and 1 Super Dragon in there to start forming our funnel up the right-hand side. You can see there's lots of buildings over there we can take out with minimal protection. Now down here, I'm going to send in a Skelly Barrel along with 1 Super Dragon to try to roast through a lot of these defenses here at 4:30. And you can see we get some nice work in there. Our Super Dragon still working on the right-hand side as well. I want to send in a second Super Dragon because that air defense is creating a little bit of a nuisance for me there. And I want to protect these Super Dragons as much as possible and not lose any. Now, once we get some spawning here with our Skelly Barrels and air skellies, on the left-hand side, we got another Super Dragon coming in. So we're going to clear out this whole bottom side from 3 to 6 o'clock. Start moving in toward the rest of this district. Our Super Dragons are doing a great job up here working toward 12 o'clock. They're going to clear out this whole section. And once they do that, guys, you can see just how concentrated the area we have left to hit is. It is not very big. And when it's not very big, we can put our frost spells in there and graveyard spells and pretty much just tank the entire rest of the base for our army. And that's what we're going to do here. Over 50%, almost to 60%. And you'll take that anytime on your first hit. All right, guys, let's take a look at the second phase of this hit. As you can see, very quick, only 1:15. Get that frost spell on the remaining blast spell on the top side. There's a lot more air defenses around it. Now we're going to be able to get to this one at the bottom quicker. So we're going to send in our graveyard spells there. Get some air balloons, rocket balloons coming in. Get our super dragons in there along with some skelly barrels. And we're just going to full force it right into the core of the base. Take out as many of these air defenses as we can. Get all of these air skellies spawning so we can just tank for all of our super dragons. And we're just going to roast our way right on through, guys. Nothing fancy about it. It's just pure muscle at this point with the super dragons and the HP. Once this blast bow gets distracted, I'm going to send in our last remaining super dragon from the top side to go ahead and get that blast bow taken out quickly. And you can see this is another devastating 2-hit triple. We get tons of bonus loot, plus the district was already over 10k. So a really nice raid for us. Lots of loot to get. And you can see just how versatile this army is. It doesn't matter what district you're facing. We can take it down with this army, guys. Yeah, boy, another 2-hit. All right, guys, next up we've got Wizard Valley. Now we're going to be coming in here, and again, we're going to frost where we can get some nice value. So that's going to be the single Inferno, the air bombs, super wizard tower, some spear throwers. I want to get everything cleared out on the right-hand side here as we start entering this base from right to left. So we got a super dragon over there with a little bit of tanking just to clear out everything on the right-hand side of that water. We got our minion horde cleaning up some trash buildings on the left-hand side. Our battle rams going down the little bridge to open up these deployment areas for us. Now we do have a mega hidden Tesla that popped on the left-hand side of this water. So I'm going to go ahead and send in one of our super dragons there to get that taken out. So we can start pushing onto the core. We got tanking in there. Along with the graveyard spells in the core, we'll send in another super dragon here. And we want to get through this core as much as possible. Our super dragon from the right actually comes in toward this rocket artillery. So that was really nice for us. And we're starting to see some nice value and chain value with all these defenses that are stacked so close to another. The roast ability can just chain right through each building, get them taken out with ease. And as you can see, again, over 50%. It's a common theme in this video, and you can just see how strong this army comp is. Every time with the graveyard spell, the first attack is the weakest. And if you're already taking out over half the district, guys, you're going to be getting 2-hit triples most of the time, unless there's some colossal fail on the second hit. All right, guys, let's look at the second part of this hit. There's not much loot left here. Kind of just a matter of cleanup. We're going to use this crossbow right here on the single Inferno, Super Wizard Tower, and that Spear Thrower. We're going to send in 2 packs of Skelly Barrels to take out this single Inferno up here at 12 o'clock. A Super Dragon to clean out everything else that's in that area. We've got our Graveyard Spells in the core around the single Inferno. A Super Dragon with a Skelly Barrel on the left to clear out that side. And now it's time to get our Super Dragons in the core to roast through around this single Inferno. Now on the backhand side, we just have a couple of giant cannons. Nothing back there that can really do anything to slow us down, guys. So we don't even have to worry about that. Our Super Dragons will have enough HP to just power through whatever is left on the backside. But again, you can see just now we have so many Super Dragons still flying around. We have 4 Super Dragons, all of them up. We still have Skelly Barrels up. We have Air Skellies, everything. So an incredible overkill right there. Never in doubt. All right, guys, next up we've got Dragon Cliffs. Now, after these balance changes, I got to say, I love hitting Dragon Cliffs, and I have not failed on it very much at all, guys. We got the Frost Spell on the Blast Bow, that single Inferno and the Air Bombs. This right-hand side, I like to send in a Rocket Loon and Skelly Barrel, 1 pack of Battle Builders with the Battle Ram, and then that Super Dragon. We're going to roast through the enemy Super Dragon. We've gotten everything taken out in the area. Get another Battle Ram down to open up this wall. Now, once that Super Dragon goes down, we're going to go ahead and start getting some of our tanking. We're going to get our 2 Graveyard Spells right there around the single Inferno and that Blast Bow. Get some tanking set up. another Super Dragon in here as we want to move everything in toward that single Inferno. Now on the left-hand side, you can see we have some trash buildings on the bottom. We're going to send that minion horde in there to snipe those out. Get that deployment zone opened up. Continue to tank for our Super Dragons. And once we get this single Inferno down, guys, next up on the docket is this Blast Bow. You can see we've got another Super Dragon down here from 4 o'clock that's going to be coming right in toward the Blast Bow. Got the single Inferno down. Now it's taking out another Super Dragon, working on that with the Blast Bow. And you can see, guys, we've got some really nice pathing going here. We're still roasting through buildings, and we are nearing that magical 50% mark. And we've taken out a bunch of these Super Dragons already. Now we're approaching 50%. And anytime on Dragon Cliffs, that is a nice attack. We've got 3 of the Super Dragons down. We still have 3 remaining, guys. We're over 50%. This Super Dragon is still doing work. Gonna roast now through the Super Wizard Tower. Get another building there along the way. Start moving in toward this air bombs. And these are all nuisance air targeting defenses right here. So it's really nice to get those down with this one single Super Dragon that is still alive. Get the Spear Thrower down as well. Almost 60% on our first hit on Dragon Cliffs, guys. You remember how hard that district usually is? Nothing to it now, guys. We're going to get a Frostbow on this backside where we can hit that Super Dragon along with all of those defensive buildings. Got our Super Dragon coming in to distract the enemy Super Dragon at 12 o'clock. A rocket balloon in on the backside to clean out the air defense and the rest of the defenses up there. Now it's just going to be pathing. We're going to start working our way to the left. We've got another Super Dragon right there to start targeting. Once it locks on to those balloons, we're going to send in another Super Dragon to make sure we roast through the enemy one as quickly as possible. And you can see we've done that with ease. We still have both those Super Dragons up, so that's really nice. We have some air skellies spawning, so that's going to give us a little tanking for this last Super Dragon that's up. We've got our minions coming in as well to provide a little more distraction since that single Inferno is up there. And now once those air skellies start spawning on the bottom side, bottom left side, we're almost send in a couple skelly barrels and another Super Dragon there with a Rocket Loon, because I want to start getting that area taken out as well. And you can see, guys, we have just powered through this base. There's really nothing to it. Very easy, comfortable to hit triple. And I have a video up on just Dragon Cliffs with this army comp, guys, where you can just shred them base after base. It is so nice. All right, guys, next up, I've got Barbarian Camp, and again, it is another nice 2-hit triple. Now, in this one, we got both rocket artilleries close to each other, so we're going to use our Frostbow on those. That's some huge value right there. Now, they've got a lot of these trash buildings out here that are pretty much just for the taking. I don't see many things around there or traps, so we're going to get those taken out with our minion hive, minion horde, and some battle rams. Now, we do have this mega hidden Tesla pops. Luckily, our minions are going to be able to take that mega hidden Tesla actually out. And you can see this deployment zone we are already opening up. It is very, very nice. Super Dragon's working on the far left-hand side and right-hand side as we're trying to set a little bit of a funnel here toward the core. We're going to get some graveyard spells in, get a couple Rocket Loons coming in toward the core with another Super Dragon. Some Skelly Barrels try to protect the Super Dragons on the right-hand side, plus all the graveyard spells that are spawning, trying to protect that area so we can get as much value as possible. But then again, there are a lot of air defenses up there, so it's going to be a little less value than we would like. But we're taking advantage of those frost spells, getting everything down around these rocket artilleries that we can. And it's going to be right here at 40%, 42% on our first hit, guys. So not too bad, but a little low on the percentage side compared to what we're used to getting. Now on this next frost spell, I'm going to freeze over here. We've got an air defense in there. We've got a little bit of value, not a huge amount. But I'm going to use the graveyard spells up here where all these air bombs are. So we're going to send in a couple packs of Rocket Loons, start getting all these air skellies spawning. Once we get the air skellies up, we're going to bring in the skelly barrels with super dragons right here in behind. And they're just going to roast through this area, even though there are all the air bombs in here. What is left of the two rocket artilleries. We do have a few spear throwers in there, but then again, those don't do anything really to a super dragon. And you see now we're roasting through the core of the base. Not much damage in there to hurt us. And once these super dragons start making a nice push toward where we have some of these air defenses, we'll send in that last rocket artillery. Those last rockets. We got the skeleton barrel along with that super dragon to roast through what is left of this district, guys. Again, never in doubt. Very easy 2-hit triple on Barbarian Camp. And you can see just how versatile this army is. You have tons of tanking, and those super dragons will do the work themselves, guys. Just work on your pathing and tanking to go around the core of the base, and it's never going to be an issue to get that 2-hit triple, guys. And that's going to leave us just the capital peak left, guys. Let's see if we can take it down using the exact same armies. All right, guys, next up, we've got the capital peak to finish off this raid in only 17 hits. So let's get to it. Now we're going to use our frost bow right here. We've got the air bombs, we got the blast bow, everything right here in this first corner. Down at 6 o'clock. So that's some nice value in there. I do want to send in our super dragons to try to take out the enemy super dragon very early on. Now our super dragon is actually going to lose this battle to the defending super dragon, so that's a little surprising. But the air skellies are going to spawn, and they're going to be helping take out the rocket artillery that's down here at 6 o'clock. You'll send in a second super dragon to make sure the enemy super dragon doesn't get away. And is taken out. And now I want that rocket artillery to be taken out on the bottom left-hand side. I'm trying to provide a little tanking for our super dragons that are out here on the right hand. So we got the rocket balloons down, we got the skelly barrels down, providing a little tanking, but there is a ton of defensive buildings in here, like high power splash buildings, hitting our troops, so it's really tough to push through here. We do get the rocket artillery down at 6 o'clock. The air skellies are working down there, cleaning out a bunch of trash buildings, cleaning out some super dragons, doing a really nice job. And now this is going to be pretty slow in here. We have all these little troops just cleaning up a bunch of trash. So we're going to speed it up because you really don't want to just sit here and watch minions and little barbarians and air skellies taking out a few more buildings. But I want those, areas of deployment to open up. So that's why you just be patient. And right here, they're just sitting here working on these super giants. They're not going to get them taken out. They are going to be weak. But it takes a long time for a troop that small to damage a super giant. On our next hit, we're going to go ahead and use our frost spell right here. You can see we've caught the rocket artillery, a couple of the rapid rockets. And so I want to bring in our troops from this 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock side. So we got the graveyard spells down in there to start tanking. And I want that deployment zone to open up to the left just a little bit of these super dragons so we can bring in troops on that whole side. Now I need to send in a few skelly barrels to start tanking for the single inferno. For the blast bow, just trying to protect our super dragons that are starting to go in there. Get a pair of rocket loons down to also come in and help tank. And you see right here, we're going to be able to start getting through this blast bow. We finally got our deployment zone open out, so we'll be able to send in troops from the left-hand side as well. We've got our last Super Dragon in there trying to do some work. They do get distracted on the outside of these trash buildings. So that, again, that was not really ideal. I wanted those Super Dragons all to go into the core. And some of them did, but we had some of them that just decided to take out these buildings that barbarians can usually take out. So not exactly the best scenario there, but over 60% in 2 attacks. We still have a lot of base left, a lot of major hitting defenses. So let's see how we're going to attack the third and final hit on this district. All right, guys, we're going to use this frost spell up here. We can get the blast bow, single inferno, and 2 rapid rockets. That is huge value. Now we're going to get our graveyard spells down here in the core. And after this last hit, I swapped out. I don't need any more battle rams because the deployment zone is going to open up everywhere around this base. So I took those out. We also switched out all the skelly barrels because of the splash to Rocket Loons. I don't want to be just losing my skelly barrels to cannons, giant cannons, different splash. So we're going to bring in the Rocket Loons so we get tons of air skellies spawning, get our Super Dragons down. And you can see we're just being patient. We still have 1 Super Dragon left to deploy. I'm going to send it along the left-hand side to start a funnel so we don't lose everything out of the core. But these Super Dragons are going to take out the Capital Peak without any issue right here. They have so many air skellies tanking for them. And now it's just a matter pretty much of cleanup. We do have that blast bow. We do have that single inferno. But once all these air skellies get over here, that single inferno cannot do anything. Super Dragons are going to roast through that. It's just a matter of cleanup, guys. And there you have it. You can see how with this one army, you can use it pretty much on every single district and on the Capital Peak. If you don't want to learn any other strategy, I would say give this one a try and just see how powerful it is, guys. And I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you do enjoy it, please smash the like button for me. Your support is greatly appreciated. And if you do want to support this channel, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, clash on, my friends.